Facebook at Salaam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? How are you all? I'm pleased to say this is Salaam Radio and this is Salaam Sports on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM, and we are very, very glad to be back on the airwaves after a little while. Sadat, welcome to the show. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, not bad. How are you? How are
yeah,
you?
Good. Asim, have you got Rashid on the phone yet? Asim's going to get Rashid on the phone and we'll get him online, and I think also Bidan will be joining too. But before they do, we've been off for a few weeks. How have we been?
Yeah, it seems to be happening, isn't it? Well, you've been abroad.
Yeah, I have been abroad. Yeah, have you seen some?
You got a bit of a tan.
Bit of colour on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back to my roots.
Yeah.
I went back to the village. Enjoyed a bit of village life. My foot's,
Did any sports while you there?
well, my foot's in a boot, innit? My foot's in a boot. I've got my crutches with me.
Oh, I didn't see. Sorry.
So yeah, literally, I've just been sat in a cut. That's what we call it, a cut.
So did you enjoy your break even with the crutches?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the sunshine, the heat. Actually, the heat was quite uncomfortable.
It didn't hinder the enjoyment anyway.
No, it was all right. It was all right. I mean, I was there for a wedding, so we enjoyed the wedding, and then after that, just a little bit going out and about, enjoying some food. Yeah, enjoying the views, the scenery. But yeah, good to be back. Good to be back.
Very good. Good to have you back.
Yeah, and in my absence, I see the Premier League season started.
Yeah,
I've missed the first couple of
Peterborough's season started.
FC Peterborough started.
Great start.
Yeah, and we've got the academy guys starting next week as well.
Yeah,
Was it next week or the week after?
The week after, I think.
Yeah. So that's kicking off soon. And we've got, what else have we got?
Well, we've had cricket.
Big boxing fight last night.
Massive fight.
Big fight.
Massive.
Yeah,
massive.
hosted by the hotbed of boxing. That is Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, live from Jeddah.
The Saudis, they're
Did you watch the fight?
I did. It was.
All right, so we'll talk about that in a little while. Yeah, you mentioned England, South Africa. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see any of that. I was literally on the phone to my boss, who's a big cricket fan, and says,
Okay.
He goes, you're going to watch a bit of the cricket? I said, yeah, I'm going to log off. I'm going to watch a bit of cricket. By the time I logged off, it was all over.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was like, we'll watch day 3, day 4.
Yeah.
That's when it gets exciting.
Yeah.
And it was all done. But otherwise, like the number of things to talk about, especially in the football. Transfer gossip. Wow. Not much going on at United, so we'll talk about that. Casemiro's come in, but
Casemiro. United have got so many players, I don't even know the names now.
Yeah. So Casemiro's coming. Yeah, we'll talk about that transfer and maybe some of the others that United are pursuing. I mean, Rashid.
Liverpool, what's happening with Liverpool's transfers?
So go on then, tell me what's happening with Liverpool
Nunez,
transfers.
Main man's out, isn't he? Now red card. Is that something that the rest of the clubs are going to look at? If you can give a nudge, a bit of a push, a bit of a kick, he'll react, because it was a poor reaction.
I know. It's one of those things, isn't it, where if you do that, especially early doors, it's especially a sign, isn't it, to everybody else?
It's not good, is it?
Just rattle this guy a little bit, and you'll get under his skin.
And then the big game today, Newcastle. I mean, I'm interested to see how, because they play City, don't they, today? I believe in the Super Sunday game. And it'll be interesting how Newcastle have progressed, shall we say, now, where they will stand this season. Because obviously last season he came in, they were at the bottom, near the bottom, in the bottom 3, avoided relegation. And now he's bought obviously quite a few players and see where they stand.
Well, I mean, last season was just a case of stay in, isn't it? Stay in.
Yeah.
But
they can't do that this season, not with the money investment and the backing that he's been getting.
But how much have they actually spent? I've not really followed their transfers. I mean, maybe Rashid can come online. He should be online soon, I think. So maybe he can tell us who they've bought. But I mean, they needed to. I mean, we talked about Newcastle and how they needed to stabilise and then get 1 or 2 signings just to push them up, and then become an attractive proposition for other players, and then splash the cash. Go for the really big ticket.
Look, again, from the outside, you assume with the cash that they've got, or being said that they've got, that if they haven't got any players, it's because the manager's happy with his team.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't imagine the manager saying, I want somebody, and the new owner saying no. I can't see it being a United situation at Newcastle at this stage.
No, not at all. Let's see if we've got anybody on the phone. Assalamu alaikum, Rashid, are you on the phone? Let's try that again. Assalamu alaikum, Rashid, are you on the phone?
Press all the buttons.
Hello? No, we don't seem to have anybody on the phone.
Here
he is.
He's here.
I think I can hear him.
Assalamualaikum.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I think our listeners can hear you as well. Azim, can the listeners hear him? Excellent, Rashid. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the show. How have you been?
Walaikum. Yeah, Yeah, I'm good. How you guys having been?
Yeah, recovering slowly.
Yeah.
Not just from the injury, but also from the shocking run of results that we've had with our respective teams.
Oh, I mean, you're talking about recovering like AJ is.
What did he say?
AJ, like AJ is
Oh,
recovering.
like AJ. Yeah, so we're going to go straight into AJ.
Yeah,
We were
let's go
talking a
into
little bit
that.
about Newcastle, but let's go straight into AJ and Usyk.
fight.
So, Sadat, did you see the fight?
Yes, I did.
I saw the fight. Rashid, did you see the fight?
Yeah, I thought his rank was more entertaining than the fight.
Yeah, the rant was really childish, wasn't it?
Did you
Yeah, I
see the
think
press
he just
conference
lost.
after that as well? Sorry.
Oh, so I didn't see the
Yeah,
press conference after that.
Yeah,
What
he
happened?
did. He
He went to
basically
tears.
cried in the. He basically got really upset and burst into tears in the conference, the press conference. He just basically said, "Look, this has been my life. I've not been done anything else." And da da da.
Oh,
I've been,
how
you know,
sad.
I'm taking it in your tone
And,
and
yeah,
a
and
bit
it
of laughter there that you
basically had
didn't
that much
sympathise with his. It didn't touch you at all. His press conference speech afterwards. Then at all, did it, Rush?
Rashid?
Yeah. So basically, they asked him
He's just
why-
ignored that.
why-
He's just ignored that.
ignored
Yeah.
it,
Rashid just ignored
he
that.
was asked-
Yeah, go on.
He was asked why he did what he did, and he basically said, "Look, I'm sorry if that offended anybody." But then he proceeded to say, "Look, basically, he went on to say, this has been my life. I've done all this, is all I know. I tried to put everything into it. It wasn't good enough." And basically, he's like, he loves, he wanted to retain his title, and be, and all of that. And his emotions got the better of him, and he literally, he went into tears. And then, what's his name?
Did you
his
agree with what
promoter.
Eddie Hearn said?
What did Eddie Hearn say?
He said he's been having big fights after big fights after big fights after big fights, and didn't go after the so-called small fights or easier fights, and that is a big pressure. And he carries that torch for UK, and he was a great ambassador, a personality. Whenever he's he's the nicest guy.
I think
and
he
all
is a
that.
nice guy. I think he
Yeah,
is
I
a great
think he is.
ambassador.
Yeah.
I think he's
And
a really
not
good.
the similar. He obviously swore regarding to other things.
Yeah, effing this, that, yeah.
yeah.
But I think he's a great ambassador. I think he's a really good personality, a really good face for boxing, for British boxing. He comes across really well. He's obviously very, very marketable. And Eddie Hearn's obviously made a lot of money off the back of that. But when you're talking purely sportsman, purely as a boxer, like him, love him, loathe him, Tyson Fury's wiped the floor with all the heavyweights that he's faced. He came back from a ridiculous retirement, God knows how many years, came back and fought the most scariest boxer on the planet at the time with Wilder, and took him to a draw, and he's beaten him convincingly since. Yeah, controversial draw. Yeah. So, yeah, I think.
Look, AJ, you have sympathy with it, but you said AJ is a very good boxer, but Fury is a genuine great boxer. I mean, in the sense, like, yes, you can say AJ is a great boxer because he's world champion and all that, but true greatness doesn't be able to dominate that, that weight category to be the best of the best. That category, there's been very few, Ali, Tyson, you had, what do you call it, Lennox Lewis.
Now, yeah.
But out of the four, shall we say that?
You wouldn't put AJ up there, would you?
So out of the four, would you put AJ at the bottom then? Usyk, Fury, Wilder, and AJ. I've not put in that in any order. I'm just saying out of those four because they're the big.
It would. I would have joint force of Wilder and Wilder and AJ. You'd put Tyson Fury as number one.
Usyk as number two.
Yes, probably Usyk is number two in terms of just his skill level.
Isn't Usyk only? Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Usyk only just fought 2 fights at heavyweight, both of them against Anthony Joshua? Didn't he come up from like super cruiserweight or something like that?
No, I think it's
Usyk, yeah. Didn't he come up to heavyweight?
Cruiserweight, yeah. He came up from cruiserweight.
Yeah, so you can't even really classify him as a proper heavyweight.
No, but out of those four, I think I would agree, to be honest with you. Usyk is a better boxer than not Tyson Fury, sorry, Wilder and AJ.
Joshua.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and so we've all due respect, AJ admitted that as well. He goes, I'm stronger than you, I'm bigger than you, but you're technically better than me.
Yeah, so I don't know boxing. It'd be great if we had someone like Hamad or Ishfaq calling in and telling us what they think because they know their boxing. But from me, but from my point of view, like, yeah, AJ was the heavier of the two. Surely, if you're the heavier of the two, this guy's come up from cruiserweight. This guy's obviously quicker. He's been around. He knows how to box. It's not like he's a joke. You need to get him out early. You need to knock him out. And I think the one round where Joshua looked like he was trying to do that was round 9.
Yeah.
When he had him on the
Yeah,
ropes,
he
caught
had
him with
it.
a few good shots, but just didn't have the steam to follow up.
Like he looked like he tired.
Yeah, and then rounds 10, 11, 12, he had nothing left.
Uzak came back, yeah.
He had nothing left.
Yeah.
So, Rashid, don't you think he should have just gone for like a... Go on.
I agree, but what a lot of the boxing commentators said as well was that whenever in every single fight he's been in music, if he ever comes in that heavy sort of attack, right?
Yep.
The very next round, he has this ability to come back and really give it to his opposition to reclaim the the momentum.
Yeah, but everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I think when we were watching it last night, we were saying, when my brother's watching it with their nephew, I said, look, that was it. He had his chance that round 9. The way that fight was going, and he got him there. He said, go on, finish him. Now's your chance. If you don't take it, you automatically use it.
We all felt it. I think we felt like he was behind.
Yeah.
Round 9 was a massive round for him. And then you have to follow up round 10, 11, 12.
Decision. Even, sorry, you just said that. He was behind. I was surprised.
What do you think about the split decision?
It was a Great Britain referee, wasn't it, who gave it
So you think that was shockingly biased?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
But it wasn't. It was his tactics again. They weren't. They were better than the first fight, right? Because in the first fight, he was just behind all the way through.
Yeah, it couldn't be any worse, could he?
But at least this fight, you just thought, well, hang on, do what you're gonna do. If you're the bigger guy, you're not gonna let him run about and out, to take the wind out of you. You're gonna basically cut the ring off by half, right? Get him into a corner and if you can't knock him down, you put your weight on him, lean on him, and really rough him up badly, and you weaken him really badly, rather than let him jog around you and jab move. And Usyk was just phenomenal at that. Kept jagging, and he kept coming in the inside, and he was quicker, laying his shots, moving off, laying his shots, moving off. And it was just frustrating.
Well, it looked like he was going for his body shots, wasn't it? And that was like AJ's plan. He was going to go for Usyk's body, hit some more body shots.
It was working. It was working. It was tiring him down. I just feel like...
even in his corner, even in his corner, his coaches, trainers, all there saying, yeah, you're winning every round, I hate this mic thing, Sometimes I don't understand if it's for the mic or what they're saying. It's for because they're saying, yeah, don't worry, you win champ, you're winning every round, but do this, you're winning every round. You think, really? He's not really winning every round.
Yeah, don't lie to him. Tell him that he's behind and tell him to catch up. So, I mean, where next for AJ, do you think, Sadat? And where next for Usyk?
Big question. Well, Usyk said Fury, doesn't he? Says that's the fight he wants.
He came out and said he wants Fury, and he says, I don't believe Fury is going to retire.
Say no.
Want to retire because it will be fight to unify all the belts.
Yeah, and Fury's come out and said, didn't it? Usyk, let's go, pull out the checkbook. Didn't he? Something like that.
Well,
that was before, wasn't it? I don't know if he said it after.
No,
he said it straight after the fight.
Oh, did he? Because the only thing I heard him say after the fight was it was a rubbish fight.
It was a rubbish fight. He's right. He's right. Sorry, Rashid, what were you going to say?
I said he tweeted some fruitful words last night.
Yes.
Fury did.
How about Ukrainians?
No.
That was an old one, wasn't it? I don't. Was that last night?
Yeah,
I don't know if it was retweeted.
Last night he tweeted, called them both bums and said they were rubbish, and he can knock them both out.
There's a bit more fruitful words than that, but yeah.
He said he could knock them all both out, one after the other.
Oh, on the same night, yeah.
Same night, yeah, absolutely.
And to be fair, he probably could.
But then talking about his comment, but I don't know if it was last night or a retweet of his old one about the Ukraine, but I think with the boxing, even the highlighted before, and obviously the shirts out, with one country being invaded, with another country taking part of their country forcefully, out muscling them, out gunning them, and all that. It's sad to see that happening in Palestine all the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that they highlighted it yesterday for the Ukraine, I think our sports will get involved in politics or stuff like that.
Yeah, you can get like 3-match bans and stuff and fines, isn't it, for getting politics involved in sport.
I mean, I generally don't want to downplay what's happening in Ukraine is wrong. Don't worry about that. Let's worry about. But it's just this double standards that it annoys me. And yesterday when I was watching that, and it was like, whilst I have sympathy, it just annoyed me, the double standards.
I think this is what everybody's feeling. Everybody's feeling a lot of sympathy for Ukraine, and everybody wants to champion these heroes like Usyk and like Zinchenko and like other sports people.
And the
but we want them to. We want to because we want to bring forward the political struggle and the plight and the fact that they're undergoing an occupation. But then what irks? No. But this is what I'm saying. What irks us, those who are a little bit more aware of other world situations, is let's not have the double standard. Let's bring it out for every country that's being invaded and occupied, and not just the ones that suit you. So absolutely, I echo your sentiments and I completely agree with them. And I'm sure, Rashid, you do too.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's a genuine inconsistency at best. At worst, it's just utter hypocrisy.
Yeah, I'd call it hypocrisy. I wouldn't even say inconsistency.
Absolutely.
But we're not a political show, so let's move on to cricket, yaar. So listen, Pakistan are playing the Netherlands.
They're 2-0 up. I don't know what the score is today. They were supposed to play today. Have they started? I'm not sure.
It's apparently it's bestie for Pakistan, isn't it, Rashid?
Is it?
I wouldn't go that far. They're 2-0 up. They're taking the spot of the, they won the series, and I haven't seen the entire squad.
I've got the score in front of me right now. Pakistan were 206 all out. They didn't quite bat the full 50 overs. I think they were all out in the last over or something like that. And then the Netherlands are 50 for 3 after 17. So they're going at a run rate of just under 3. The run rate's not a problem. They still need.
Wickets,
they're somewhere near 5. They need an
Must be
over.
a big reshuffle, those in the Pakistan team.
But they're 3 wickets down for 50 runs. So it doesn't look like the best batting wicket in the world. And you'd expect Pakistan to have the ability to just skittle them out.
Yeah, I think the biggest news out of it is the Shaheen Shah. He's out, isn't he? And he's picked up injuries, and he's unlikely to be available for the Asian Trophy tournament. Sorry, what's it called again? The Asia Cup.
The Asia Cup?
Yeah, between Bangladesh, Pakistan, India.
Yeah, you're right. No Shaheen Shah. You're right. No Shaheen Shah.
Shah's out. They've burnt him. Basically, he's been playing every single
He has played a heck of a lot, yeah.
game. And it is with, I don't know, with Pakistan in particular, I think India the same. When they get a star, he has to play every single game.
Yeah.
Well, this is the bad thing. That's the sad thing. This Pakistan have got a stock of really good fast bowlers. We can bowl over 90. I mean, they've got 7 bowlers who can bowl over 90 mph consistently.
Wow.
So my question would be, why are they sort of consistently playing Shaheen Afridi? I mean, I get it. He got number 1 fast bowler, right? He's left-handed and he's tall and all the rest of it. So he can swing. He's got pace. He's
unique.
height.
Yeah, he is unique. He has got the pace and he's left-handed, like you say. Pakistan have got a
But I just feel like
bowlers.
all the best fast bowlers have always had 1 or 2 partners in crime, right? Somebody bowling from the other end, somebody to give them a break. Yeah, if you look at like
too much pressure on one bowler, you're saying. So
even Wasim and Waqar you had Curtly Courtney at West Indies. Even now, I mean, not necessarily a fast bowler, but Anderson's had broad throughout his whole career. Who else is it?
I don't know. I mean, they are. I mean, using two like Wasim Waqar, brilliant. Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh, brilliant, excellent partnership.
Yeah.
But I think some partnerships are based on one bowler being that good that they attack the other partner, and then he picks up the wicket because they're trying too hard.
Of course, yeah.
And those particular ones, their names, I think they're all great bowlers, and I think with Shaheen Shah the same. The other bowlers picked up wickets as well as. I can't even remember the other.
He's kind of peppered them up,
yeah.
and they've come in and just taken the wicket, taking the glory. Yeah, it's all me. It's all me. Yeah.
So without him, they're going to struggle.
We wish him a speedy recovery and hopefully he gets back soon, so that he can be rested.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're playing if it's a series, they'll play him all Test match, and then they'll have obviously a T20 and a few one days. You think rest him for the T20 or rest him for the one days or something? Just. Give him a rest, but he's playing every single game.
Yeah. Babar Azam got 91. He was the only one that made a score of note. He always does, doesn't he? And yeah, like I said, the Netherlands are 50 for 3 after 17.1. So we'll follow that. The other bit of cricket worth talking about. Actually, I've started watching a bit of the 100.
Yes, yeah, I have as well.
It's interesting. It's doing my head in. I'm still trying to figure it out. That's the problem. So they don't have overs; they have sets.
Yes, sets
5 ball sets. Yeah,
and you can do 2 sets at once if you like.
And then the graphics on the screen, they kind of go up for the first innings and then they work down for the second innings. So I'm just trying to get my head around it at the moment. It's a little bit complicated.
And
a lot going on.
If you don't finish your 80 balls within a certain time, the last 10 or last set or the second set, 2 sets, you have to bring a fielder in.
Oh, okay.
So you can't have,
so it's all timed and everything.
Yeah, it's all timed.
Yeah, I didn't know that rule. I've not seen that rule. So I've been following that a little bit, but I can't get behind.
Cricket, it's not rule.
Is it a law?
Yeah.
I've not seen that law in practice, so I'll keep my eyes out for that. But again, with the teams, like what is it? Is it like the Hornets and the Rockets and the
the Rockets? I think it was
weird. So it's difficult to get behind, but yeah.
And it's good because they have the women's game before.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And
I'm really glad that they do.
And it'll be interesting. I'll be honest, I'm watching both.
Yeah. As is Rashid, I'm sure you're following both the men's and the women's. Rashid.
Yeah. Are we not speaking about England's humiliation against South Africa?
We are. We're going to go on to it
You
just after you
touched
tell
it.
me how you've been following both the men's and the women's, the 100.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Right. South Africa and England. What is this new brand of cricket that England have employed under Brendan McCullum, head coach?
Fazball.
Fazball, yeah. What's this all about? Like,
Fazball?
this is Test cricket. This is not T20. They're basically taking T20 approach to Test cricket.
A bit more aggressive.
And then that's why the game finished in 2 days.
Not a bit more aggressive, significantly more aggressive. Like Test cricket, I'm used to like seeing run rates of like 1.7, right? That's what we used to do. That's what Test cricket was all about. Grind the opponents down. And you'll remember, in fact, we spoke about this, I think, on this very show, when England were dominant on the Test scene maybe 4 years ago. They went through a patch where they were just ridiculously dominant. We had our opening batsmen tiring the bowlers out. They would bat for like 50, 60 overs, lose maybe 1, 2, 3 wickets, and then our middle order would just pick off the tired bowlers for the rest of the innings. And they would just continually do that. And it was just like a case of get them tired. Now we've kind of abandoned that approach and we've said, get at them early, put the bowlers under pressure. What are your thoughts on that as a traditionalist? I know you're a purist when it comes to cricket.
I think it's they've got to have the ability to mix it. Okay, so you've got to see, obviously, you're playing. If they hadn't done the new approach against, for example, India or New Zealand, they wouldn't have won those games, those Test matches that they played. But it was clearly, you can see this is going to be trouble coming forward on as you go forward, that it can't come off all the time.
Yeah.
A bit like Leeds, they're attacking. Okay, it's great when it comes off.
Leeds are 2-0 up at half time.
But I'm more of last season or season before, where they're just gun ho.
Yeah.
It's attack. Which when it comes off and you're thinking this is great football, this is great. When they get smashed 5-0 or something, you're thinking, hang on, what's going on here? This is poor.
Rashid, if you're going into a Test match and you know the opposition have got that kind of approach, then surely you're going to just prep your bowlers to say, look, you're going to get hit, but commit to it. Bowl just outside off, get your slips in place. They will nick one. We'll get a wicket. It doesn't matter if you get it, 20 runs off 2 overs and we nick a wicket. That's a good outcome for Test cricket.
Especially if you lose early wickets for 1 or 2 wickets.
The problem isn't Bazball. The Bazball is just it's just trying to paper over the cracks England have. England have been atrocious, right, for Test cricket for a while now. Under Joe Root, there was they lost almost 17 in a row, didn't they? And the problem was because England's batting was atrocious. England's batting is just diabolical. Other than Joe Root, and then after Joe Root, you get what's his name, the new captain,
Stokes.
Stokes. England don't have any top quality batsmen. The first 3 don't. None of them really average 40.
So who's this Zach Crawley guy?
The openers are absolutely poor. They've got to be dropped.
All England are doing are thinking, all right, these guys can't play proper Test match batting. Well, the only thing we can then do is just, tee off from the word go, and hopefully we'll get some runs on the board, and then we'll see from there.
We've got some excellent. We've got some excellent top class batsmen playing, first class cricket, waiting for a chance to get into the England team. But I read comments around Zach Crawley. He's averaging about 14 at the moment, and the comments really irked me, and I'll tell you why. It's because they pick and choose who to give a lot of slack to, and Zach Crawley seems to be a player that they've given a lot of slack to. They're saying we don't expect him to be slow, steady, regular, dependable. Right, opening batsman. Surely that's exactly what you want. But they're like, he's got the ability to win us matches when he gets going. But I would argue everybody's got that ability. Every batsman.
They're all trying to be Shahid Afridi's.
Exactly, yeah. So why is it that some players, and I'm particularly going to go back to Moeen Ali. Moeen Ali was never ever given a chance, right? No. Why is it Zach Crawley's been given such such amount of slack to just go out there? He's had one decent innings. I think he shared a partnership of 110 odd, maybe against New Zealand it might have been. But other than that, he's not really contributed. And they're even being careful with the language they're using around describing his game.
Oh yeah, no. Look, the bottom line is, and I'll say this quite openly: England cricket does not have a single black or Asian player in it. and it hasn't had for a while now. And the only player they bring in is Jofra Archer, but he's actually West Indian, and that's because he's actually a genuine.
He's a genuine quick, yeah.
Plus, yeah.
Now, other than that, England don't have a black or Asian player, and that's saying something. And then they've got 11 white guys, most of which are even.
Maybe they're the best 11 cricketers in the country.
The ones that are really good are really old, as in Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad.
Yes,
Joe was world class, and you got what's his name, the captain, the ginger one. Sorry, what's his name?
Stokes.
Stokes. Other than those four,
he doesn't want to say his name.
Those are the four world class players we even have. The rest are absolutely pants.
Right, we're going to go into a break now. We've talked lots about cricket, lots about boxing, but after the break, we are going to talk about our favourite subject, which is football. So join us in about 4 minutes and 5 seconds. We'll be back. We'll be talking about Liverpool, United, transfers, signings, Tuchel Conte, kickoff. Join us in a few minutes.
Talk to me, please.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
Somalia is facing the worst drought in decades. Livestock and crops are dying in droves, and without rain, children are next. If we don't act now, 350,000 could die this summer. Muslim Hands is on the ground right now, distributing life-saving food and water. Just £100 would feed a family for a month. Your zakat and sadaqah is urgently needed. Please give today at muslimhands.org.uk.
हाँ जी जनाब आज तुसने किया 12 बजे वे
यार फैमिली की बाहर खड़ना चाहना या खिलाने पिलाने से सोचना कुथे जाओ
इसी च परेशानी है लिकड़ी गल है इब्राहिमी बफे रेस्टोरेंट पर जाओ उते फ्री पार्क करो उन्होंने मजेदार ते स्वादले पाकिस्तानी इंडियन चाइनीज ते इटालियन आय 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 खाने ना ते जोड़ी कोई नहीं नाले सस्ते ते स्वादले
ए तेराक्स इसका मतलब है बटवा भी नहीं होला होनेगा इब्राहिमी बफे रेस्टोरेंट वैरायटी ऑफ डिलीशियस डिशेस के अलावा जेलाटो आइसक्रीम एंड वॉफल्स भी करते हैं वीकेंड्स पर अपना टेबल बुक करवाइए और वीकडेज तशरीफ ले आइए ओपनिंग आवर्स शाम 5 बजे से रात 10:30 बजे तक इब्राहिमी रेस्टोरेंट 63 Sycamore Avenue Peterborough PE1 4JP टेलीफोन 01733 313131
HS Lawyers make it so simple. Contact Majid Sarwar or Asad Arif today for any matters relating to immigration, family, business or property. Google HS Lawyers to see why we're the highest reviewed firm in Peterborough, with over 500 testimonies on our honesty, speed and excellent communication, making your legal matters simple, easy and stress-free. Contact us today on 01733 703 978. That's 01733 703 978 or email us at peterborough@hs-lawyers.co.uk. HS Lawyers, built on values of integrity and respect, with offices in Peterborough and throughout the West Midlands.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
you want to learn about Islam and Muslims. Stay tuned to Salaam Radio 106.2 FM.
We are Salaam Radio 106.2 FM, and we are back online. And I think we are also joined by Bidan Ganguly. Bidan, are you there?
I am indeed. Can you hear me?
Good to hear from you, mate. Good to hear from you. And Rashid, I'm hoping you're still there.
Yep, I'm still here.
Yeah, can the three of us join together and wish Sadat Akram a very happy birthday? He's 35 again.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Sadat. He's brought no cakes in though. I did tell him to bring in cakes.
Well,
but there's no cakes in the studio right now, so you guys are not missing out. Bidan, have you got an update on the Leeds Chelsea score?
I do. It's 3-0 now to it's 3-0 to Leeds. So
that is incredible. That is incredible.
So it's Jack Harrison got a second. I thought he looked offside, but obviously checked by VAR and all that, and yeah, all good.
Yeah, assist by Rodrigo. I see Rodrigo's had some start to the season. 3 goals before today, and he's got another goal and an assist. He's looking fairly well placed to fill the big boots of Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, I mean, look, Leeds have this new American kid that they've got, Aronson, that they signed end of last season or in the close season. He looks pretty decent, you know. He's been making some decent runs and he's a good passer of the ball. And he was running through the centre and taking people on. So I think he is one to watch, definitely.
Chelsea won their previous games, did they? No, they
Chelsea
Tottenham, didn't they?
Job, isn't he?
Say that again, Rashid. Sorry.
I said Ted Letter's going to get to keep his job at Leeds, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's looking good though. He's looking. I mean, Leeds are playing some really exciting football. I saw the first 40 minutes of it before dashing off to this show, and they do play good football. They play a high press. They're happy to do that, and they're happy to play from the back, and they look really comfortable. And when under pressure, they don't mind just hitting the lines and expecting Rodrigo to chase it. So they're a tough prospect for anyone, and their deliveries into the box are looking good, particularly today.
Wow.
So it'll be an interesting season for them.
Well, this is interesting. The Enrique coach managed to do a slightly better job than Bielsa. I mean, no, Bielsa got them up, but he never got them playing like this really, and they look a bit, they look more well organised defensively, and going forward, there just seems to be a bit more cohesion there. So fair play. Yeah, fair play indeed.
Let's move on. Let's talk about. Actually, before we go on to football proper, can we talk about Ryan Giggs?
Well, can you look into my eyes when you talk to me?
Can I? Well, come on to that as well. We'll come on to that. Yeah, look at me when you talk to me. But Ryan Giggs, what's going on with Ryan Giggs? Ryan Giggs is in court and he's facing a charge. Is he facing a charge? He's going to go down. Charges.
Giggs is facing charges for crimes against poetry. My understanding is.
Well, look, I think obviously the case is sub judice at the minute, so he's just got to be careful, but it is obviously the fun side of things, obviously the poetry that was released. But one of the, I think obviously with Rashid being on the phone, I think there's 2 questions I wanted to ask Rashid.
Go on.
One was, as a former manager yourself, have players ever come to you over matters of the heart in a similar way that Fergie had to go to court for Giggsy? And second of all, have you ever been like a party to any similar poetry styles to Ryan Giggs at all in your time?
It's actually ridiculous, isn't it? Like, have you read some of the? Have you read some of the?
I haven't.
Oh my God, he was like, what was he? He said something about Gary Neville, didn't he?
Oh no, yeah, because his girlfriend's name is Greville. No,
Greville. So her name's Greville, Miss Greville, yeah.
Thinking about Greville. He said, like, your name is Greville, my bestie's called Neville, and I love toasties from Breville.
Oh my God.
Wow. That must have taken hours.
So I'm just going to read some of the stuff that he said.
So this is what he has. I was going to say allegedly. I assume it's not allegedly because it's out in the open.
This is all out in the open. Yeah, this is all like
what
quotes from the thing.
to his ex-girlfriend.
I can't read this out.
But look,
can I read this out? I can't read this out.
You can't read them out, no. But I think that, look, Fergie goes in. I read his testimony, and he's just like, fantastic temperament as a player. And of course, like, I don't think he ever got sent off. He might have got booked the odd time, but obviously, look, on a football field, I just remember one argument with Kaká once, and that was it. He never did anything. But obviously, look, you can't. Who knows what's going on behind closed doors? And it's just,
Well,
Yeah,
we already found that out. Was
made-
close.
Okay, that's a bit of fun. That's a bit of fun. Let's move.
Didn't he say about Kate Greville that when they touched it was electric?
No, I don't think that was. I think that was just
The roses
allegedly
are red,
said. But
violets
yeah.
are blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's
that.
right. Listen, let's move on. Let's move on to the shocking, appalling, abysmal start to the Premier League by both Liverpool and Manchester United. What is going on? We've got 3 United fans and a Liverpool fan here live on air. What is going on?
Would you say that's shocking and abysmal by Liverpool? I can understand what you say about United, but are you putting that in the same category for Liverpool? I know they haven't
No
won.
team has ever won the Premier League after failing to win their first game against a newly promoted team.
And how many times?
So we basically
has-
we've basically shot ourselves in the foot. Yeah, we basically shot ourselves in the foot.
But how many times is the
Liverpool bought
potential?
£100 million striker and
Exactly.
and you let them down against Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So we've spent lots and lots of money, and we should be better than what we were last season. And at the moment, it
Would you
looks
say
like
the
we're not.
performance? Okay, they obviously didn't win, but the way they were playing, the style, and everything, the performance had changed from last season. Other than they're putting the ball in the back of the net, are they missing their
No,
main
I think
player,
I
Mane?
think look, Fulham was a surprise, and with Palace, I think it was a silly red card. I think Palace's game could have gone the other way, could have gone in our favour, not the other way, could have gone in our favour. But with the red card, you just hoping for a draw and get out of there. So I
It was
consider
a great
ourselves
goal to get a draw, though,
a
wasn't it?
really good goal by Luis. Yeah,
I mean, all jokes aside, to be fair, I think Liverpool have had few injuries, specifically in defence. And I just think and the Liverpool in general are playing well. It was just that, unfortunately, Nunes got the red list and he did what he did, and that kind of cost Liverpool. But I
Yeah.
just think Liverpool will get into the groove. It's just the fact that if City just carry on like a machine, then it becomes impossible, and it becomes, it becomes like a farmers' league where they just roll everybody and win the league easily by Christmas. You hopefully that doesn't happen. But at the same time, I don't really want Liverpool to win the league. But I genuinely think Liverpool will come back, and they'll come back strong.
I mean, of course. I don't doubt that at all, Rashid. I think Liverpool will definitely get into a groove, but are Manchester City the type of team you want to give us, 4-point lead to potentially 7 points?
Well, you give them like 11, 10, it was 10 points at Christmas last year, wasn't it? I know they had that engaged in hand.
It was 14 points, and Liverpool brought it back down to 1 point.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show, look, City are capable of hitting a rocky patch as well. Do you know what I mean?
If you want to fall behind, it's a good time in the season to fall behind. As like first few games, that's okay. You've got plenty of time to catch it up.
Yeah. Bidan,
once Champions League gets into it, City start dropping points everywhere, isn't it? Because remember, the Champions League is City's Achilles heel.
Bidan, can I get your views on United's start, the first 2 games, just high level?
Well, look, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yep.
And I think that just going back to the summer, it's like, okay, there's meant to be all this change. Richard Arnold came in, they're meant to have created a new scouting department, sorted all the scouting and all that kind of stuff. But I did think that, like, we need best in class in every position behind the scenes. And giving John Murtogh, who was brought in by Moyes and has just overseen the last 10 years of transfer disaster, a prominent position, and keeping faith with him might not have been the best idea. And we've just seen what's happened this summer is what's happened every summer. There are astute buys that people like Rash knows about, that I know about, that everyone on Twitter goes on about, that we could make and get them in early and start to build around them and have them here for a few years and stuff like that. What happened? We fruitless pursuit of Frankie de Jong, and now Casemiro's a good player, don't get me wrong, a 5-time Champions League winner, fantastic in the Champions League final and all of that, but it does feel like what we're doing, what we've always done, which is like a big name to appease fans and almost like a panic buy. So it's obviously bled into the team. So,
Would you have been happy
Brighton,
if we got Casemiro at the start of the season? Shall I say, start of the transfer window, he came in and he said, "Oh yeah, that's right, we're starting off well." Or was it just the way it's happened?
But the thing is, if he'd have come in at the beginning, you'd think, okay, all right, fine, maybe we did want to build, maybe players who are a bit younger or something like that. He's got the experience which is great. But if he'd have come in at the beginning, then you'd think, okay, there'll be more signings coming up here. But I don't think much of this. Like Lisandro's struggled to start with. Malachi has hardly played. Ericsson, I don't know what.
It's even before that bid, right? And so when there was a whole thing about who's going to replace Solskjaer and what kind of, what's the profile of the coach, we want attacking football. We want somebody that can work with young players and develop them and all of that. So why is it, right? And the midfield area was the key concern. Because it's so many, Matic, Pogba, Lingard, they're all leaving, right? Fine. So why do you then go and spend money on 2 defenders? And then why is it then after buying 2 defenders in Martinez and Malacia, right?
Is he the smallest centre-back in the league, yeah?
And then you go buy a 30-year-old midfield player. Why, and what for 2 years? It doesn't make sense. So you're supposed to, Ten Hag's going to be buying sort of like younger players, developing them, turning them into world beaters, right? So what's going on here?
Because this is the thing, Rush, is that the director of, Glazers will not install a director of football. We've pretty much been told that, the fact that they allowed Ralph Rangnick, who clearly did set out what needed to be done, and they basically told him to take a running jump. That's 100% there. But look, the problem again is that, and this is why, although Anthony looks like he's probably going to come because he didn't play for Ajax today.
He wasn't even in the squad.
And the thing is that he is going to be it's going to be Ten Hag players, and can these players play for another manager if Ten Hag is to get the boot after 8-9 months? I mean, you got Martinez. If he doesn't improve, then no one's going to want to touch him, and he'll be in our squad, and that's 50 million down the drain. Then again, Anthony, if he does come, that's like a player that seems to be identified by Ten Hag. Pau Torres.
Can I just interrupt there? I just want to bring Sadat in. Sadat, I've had this question. I've put this question out there to Badan previously. Frankie De Jong, he was the guy that's been named since maybe April, May time back in the last season. Definitely was the number 1 target all the way through the summer, and still is. And you've still got 10 days before the end of the transfer window, so it could still happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but why are United faffing around? How do you feel about the fact that, that's the only player you've been talking about? Casemiro was in the news, out of the news, signed within 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Nothing. And you're talking about multiple Champions League winner, yeah? So what is up with FDJ? Why can you not get that done? Sadat, I just want to ask Sadat that. Sorry, Rashid, I'll come back to you in a second. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so obviously he has his wage issue, but I have no idea what's going on in that background.
Yeah, but how do you feel as a United fan?
I feel deflated, annoyed. It's feel like, now I know how Liverpool felt for all those years, fans. Thinking, really? Is that what we come to? Every year you're thinking, it's going to be an improvement. I'm not saying this year's going to be our year, but every year you're thinking, okay, right now,
Because McFred was the issue, right? McFred was the number 1 issue.
Yeah, but now he's changed it, hasn't he? He doesn't put McTominay and Fred, he picks Fred and McTominay.
Oh, okay. Fredomini is now the issue. Rashid, what were you going to say about the FDJ issue?
One quick point. Koulibaly's been sent off to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
My point would be as big as and so that's pointed out is, look, this is ridiculous because fine, you put Erik Ten Hag in charge, right? And yes, but you've got to have a director of football, which United have. Look, the director of football should be able to say to the manager, right, yes, we see the kind of players you want to buy, we're in tune with you, because you've got to be in tune, right? And when you don't see that working out, or you don't think the players are going to work out, you say to the manager, sorry, but no. And this is the thing, why are we allowing Ten Hag to literally raise the entirety of the Eredivisie?
Yeah, good point.
Heritage is more than this in terms of buying players from there. It's not all 100% successful. And so why is that?
Somebody eating crisps in the background.
Is that bid popcorn?
Defender when you know it doesn't work in the Premier League?
Bidzy,
you're having popcorn in the background, mate.
Oh, sorry. I'm just making some food. Sorry, go on.
Bidzy, I was going to say, 10 weeks. Why did he tell the board that he didn't necessarily want to work with Ralph?
Are you asking me this? Yeah,
I am. I'm asking you this.
Well, I don't know because look, he should. Maybe he just thinks, oh well, look, Ralph Rangnick's come in. He didn't set the world alight, but Ralph Rangnick was never a manager.
Never meant to be.
Of the first team. He was a consultant. He was the guy that is from KPMG that comes into your office and sits there with his laptop for a week or two And he's like, he identified all of the problems at the club. And like, obviously, look, he had a very candid nature, and he was saying we need 10 players. Both, you know, he was right. And I don't know whether the upstairs have said, look, this guy's a bit too open for us, or he's going to call us out, or he's going to make us spend the money and that we don't want to spend and all that. Which is a weird thing.
But why get Ralph Rangnick and then come in all that, you know, pay him all that money? It's like you're saying, you get a company, you say, can you analyse us and tell us where we're going wrong and what we've got to do?
He tells you where you're going wrong, and you're like, don't like that.
Yeah, don't like that, mate. Thanks a lot. So yeah, here's your money.
So I've heard that Joe Glazer is, you know, quite involved in like the players that we sign, and he signs it all off. He signs off the deals and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Rash, you shared something, didn't you, on WhatsApp on that? And I just think that maybe it's not just Ed Woodward, as the point might be Joe Glazer, but the problem is that none of them know how to run a football club, and none of them want to relinquish control. And while that is still going on, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens before the game tomorrow. That's all I'll say.
I mean, we've got a lot of noise about potential buyout, potential equity stake being bought, venture capitalists getting involved. Yeah. Is it Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Is that him? The guy who's So all these people. So, and I know, Bidzi, I know you've been going on about this for a while, saying the problems are not on the pitch. Well, they are on the pitch, but that's a direct result of the problems off the pitch, and we need to get our house in order, particularly in the boardroom. So I'm sure you're gassed about it. So that you're hearing this. I mean, what are you thinking? You're thinking, let's get a bite?
That is a problem, yes. But I can't imagine that Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in today and on Monday we beat Liverpool 4-0.
No.
Right? The players on the pitch have to take responsibility as much as, you know, look, we've had, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 managers? Are we losing count? How many managers have we had since Fergie's gone in the past 10 years? You know, you had the likes of Mourinho, who then openly said the second...
So that's the criticism that a lot that gets said. And some of that's true, but you've got to understand this. That sort of criticism is slightly disjointed, because when you leadership at the very top of the organisation shows that you don't give them a monkeys, right? And you're just there for yourself, and you're just going to take money out. And then you're also signing rewarding players who have failed, who are not delivering with huge contracts, right? That sends a message in the dressing room that I can sit on my backside and do the bare minimum or not even.
So challenge, okay, so challenge for you then, Rashid. Challenge for you then.
If I was Harry Maguire and playing like that and getting the stick.
100% right, Rash.
No, so challenge for the both of you then. Look, how many players have left Manchester United this summer? I think it's about 12, right? And you've got established players that were in your first team or very close to it. You've lost Pogba, Jay Lings, Matic, Mata.
Lingard.
Yeah, Lings. Yeah.
Sorry.
Who? Yeah, Cavani. Yes. You've lost a number of players that would, if fit, would be starting. And who have you brought in? You've brought in Casemiro, who hasn't joined yet. You've brought Lisandro Martinez. You've lost Bailly as well now. He's gone out on loan, right? So what the club's doing is they're doing exactly what you're saying, Rashid. They're not renewing contracts and they're not keeping players on that are substandard. But if you do that, you've got to bring in players that are going to play, and they've not brought in the number one target this summer. And that's my challenge. It's like, you can't be getting shot of players when you don't know whether you've got the ability to attract the players that you want.
And the players that they brought in before, on paper, ain't bad.
This is a disaster that takes place, Image, because you're absolutely spot on. So, yeah, you let all of these players go, right? But then if you know these players are going, you've got to have lineup replacement.
You have
not
to.
Just number for the number's sake, but you've got to know that they're going to fight for the club. They've got the heart, the desire. You know, those characteristics that make the club successful and the players successful.
And the other thing I heard was like Alvarez. Alvarez apparently was
rubbish.
Alvarez was apparently targeted by
big name players like Varane, the winger
Sancho,
you know,
Casemiro
now coming
Ronaldo.
You know, these are big players. You can't say that they've not brought decent players or on paper. And okay, it's maybe not. Varane's definitely not worked out. Sancho's not working out at the moment, but because of the whole atmosphere, maybe, or the way it is. But on paper, they've brought some decent players.
Again, I'm sorry, you're papering over the cracks, right? The whole world and dog knew for about 18 months, Manchester United needed a central midfielder, a defensive midfield. And what did they went out with Ronaldo? And with Ronaldo, you can't play high press. So then you've gone back and you can't play low press. So you've got to somehow bring Ronaldo into a squad where he's not suited for that squad. We all knew
that. So as an outsider, as a non-United fan, I'm thinking Ronaldo stroke Martial as a striker. You got Rashford. You got Sancho. You got Bruno. You had Pogba. He's gone now, obviously. Right, these players. I'd say that front 3-4 attacking players, some of the best in the world. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. So you absolutely, like Rashid said, you absolutely need a protector. You need an N'Golo Kante in that position. You need somebody there who's going to be world class, breaking down play, protecting defence. And you've had McFred, and they've not done it. Matic as well lost his legs, can't really do it. You absolutely need somebody there, and you probably needed somebody there for maybe even more than 2 years, probably 3 years.
Well, you need someone like Eriksen.
I can't remember the last. I mean, maybe Carrick was the last player that was playing in between the lines, trying to protect your defence and playing those attacking players. He's probably the last player you've had in that position that's done a good job. Is that fair, Bidan?
And since Carrick has retired, United haven't won the trophy.
Yeah, it's telling. It's telling. All right, listen, we could talk about United for the rest of the show. We've only got 5 minutes. I do want to go on to a couple of other things.
Firstly, the trophy. Sorry, I just had a bit of flashback. We beat Liverpool 4-1 and won a trophy, didn't we?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Well done.
Full time. Chelsea have lost 3-0 away to Leeds United.
Oh, that is a big result.
That is a big result. Well done to Leeds.
Well done
to Leeds. That's exactly the kind of result that we wanted to see. Let's go on to Tuchel versus Conte. Just a bit of handbags, or are both the managers feeling the pressure? Conte, I mean, I don't know. Of the two, I prefer Conte. I quite like Conte. I don't like Tuchel. I don't like Tuchel.
Animation, isn't he? Than Tuchel. Conte's always running up and down the
pitch. But what was that all about? It was just like a handshake, and he said, "Well, look me in the eye when you shake my hand."
I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's a bit like.
Come on.
Part 2. It's like Gary Neville and Jamie Redknapp. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that was just silly.
Yeah,
that was just silly.
Look at me when I'm shaking your hand. But look, it's all handbags. I mean, this Tottenham Chelsea rivalry. You know, it's just one of those weird rivalries. It's a bit like Palace and Brighton. You're like, where did this come from? But it's like, it's just handbags, I think. And look, Spurs are looking decent. They got off to a decent start. Kane is now most goals for a single club in the Premier League or whatever, and all of that. Good trophy there for them.
Well done.
Did you see the handshake at the end of the Leeds and Chelsea game today? Was that okay?
Was
that happy that he was actually there, wasn't he? Because he's not being given.
Do you see that, Binti? Rashid, are you watching it?
Yeah, there was a handshake.
No problems with it whatsoever.
Tuchel had the suspension suspended, so there was a handshake.
So he might be suspended.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about it. Was it Leeds manager that it was suspended? He thought he should be banned for this match.
It didn't make a difference.
No, I'm sure he won't mention it now.
It's fine. And then
can they look each other in the eye?
Look, we're going into the last few minutes of the, and it would be remiss of us to not mention who's top of the league. Who's top of the league? Manchester. No, Arsenal.
Oh, is it?
Arsenal played 3-1-3. Yeah, they're looking good. I'm not going to say they look the real deal. They have had an easy. Rashid's going to come out with the stats that they've had the easy start out of any other team. Is that right, Rashid? They've played like the weakest teams in the first three. So, but you can only beat what's put in front of you.
Yeah, and you've got to play everybody. Last season, I think they struggled, didn't they? You would say
3 wins out of 3. Gabriel Jesus, what do you think?
I said that at this show. I said he'd be a great signing for Arsenal.
You did. I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Bidan, yet to be convinced.
Yeah, it was neat. No, actually, do you know what? I think they've probably improved, but they're inconsistent. This is exactly what they did last season. They had a huge lead going into the final, 8 games and stuff, and Spurs looked at it buried. And obviously they were talking about their games in hand, and then they blew it. So until I see that consistency, I'm not too...
Well, at the moment they aren't they? 3 games, 3 wins.
Well, it was last season, wasn't it, where Arsenal won the first 3 and Spurs lost the first 3?
No, Arsenal lost the first 3.
And Spurs won the first 3?
No, I don't think they won. I think they were drawing their games because they had what's his name before Tuchel.
They won it. I remember Nuno won his first 3 games. And Arteta lost his first 3 games. Yeah, I remember.
And then after that,
so it's a really good reversal for Arsenal. I know, Bidzi, Rashid, you're yet to be convinced about Arteta, but watching that game yesterday, man, it was.
Oh, anyone seen any of that documentary? That's on.
Forget the documentary.
It's Arteta, isn't it? I don't know what it's called. My kids are watching. I was in and out. I see bits of it.
Nothing or nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolute rubbish.
Yes, Bidan.
But Image on Arteta, would he finish second third one season and second one another season, that would be hailed as a major result. But he's not going to do that. But you know who did do that? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and look what happened there. So it's just like
second.
I'm not too bothered.
What happened there?
I mean, I'm not fair play to Arsenal.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I just feel like with OGS, like I don't think anybody could see him lifting the big trophy.
No, it was on the pitch. It wasn't great. Let's be honest. Even with the away record that United have under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that 17 or 18 games undefeated away, it was always the second half, wasn't it? First half, you think what's going on, and they come out all of a sudden, and there's like ditch a win, and so they weren't playing great.
The thing I like best about Arsenal's start of the season is Arsenal fans. They are going to go mad. They're going to be talking it up, and it's going to be hilarious to watch them implode. And probably not even in the second half of the season, probably in the latter of the first half of the season. So yeah, let's keep a close eye on that.
Can't wait to AFTV when it all goes up pear-shaped.
Yeah, AFTV is the one to watch, is it?
There's others out there.
Excellent. Listen, Bidzi, Rashid, thank you so much for joining us today. Great to be back on air after a number of weeks.
I hope you enjoy your meal there, but
Sadat, happy birthday again.
Thank
We're out of time, but go on.
Can we get Rashid to play us out with some poetry, please?
Rashid, would you mind?
Poetry.
Maybe next week. Listen, Salaam. See you all. Listen. Bye.